I collected a lot of weird stuff when I was a kid. I collected Draco heads. I collected toys from Bike and Mice from Mars. Of course, Pokemon cards. But what I also collected was football cards. One of which is this. Premier League gold cards from the year 2000. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was one of the top scorers. It was, David Seaman on goal for Arsenal. All this stuff. I was just in love with football. And one of the ways that you could follow Premier League in Denmark in the late 90s was Sports Saturday, also called Tips Saturday. Most people called it Tips Saturday because it followed the Saturday slate of games both in Premier League but also in Denmark. But this program, where there was a dong sound every time a goal was scored in either of these 13 games, that ran for a long, long time on the Danish public service station. It brings a lot of nostalgia. These 90s, it even started in the 80s, but the 90s style of TV. And now we have a game which speaks to this nostalgia, and that game is called Nutmeg. Nutmeg is a nostalgic deck building sports simulating game. The Venn diagram that the developers are trying to hit here are gamers who love both Football Manager and also Slay the Spire, and that have a nostalgia towards the 80s and 90s. Which is a small, very narrow Venn diagram. To me, it sounds like the type of music lover that both goes to Taylor Swift concerts and Tool concerts, who like both death metal and Bach, because those two should be opposites, but they aren't. So let's talk about Nutmeg. The retro vibe is impeccable. You're doing tactics for your team on a chalkboard. You're doing the transfer market in one of these things, like finding players this way. Oh, I want to buy this guy. I want to buy this guy. They have fax machines. They have a CRT TV, which is where you go to Text TV and look at the standings of your league. It's very, very retro, and I love every part of that. The whole game flow is nice. So every season in the game takes 90 minutes, which is the same amount of minutes that a normal game of football takes. Clever. And you control every part of the club. You control the price of admission, you control the merch sales, you control stadium expansions, coaching hires, of course the transfer market, and the control of, and you have the control of the tactics for each game. Do we want to go aggressive? Do we want to go defensive? Or are we just kind of in the middle? The first time you play the game, you're forced to be in the 4th best league in England. So you only get to choose between about 4 teams, one of which is York, which is what I started out as. And here is where the Slay the Spire comes in. Because it's obviously made in a way where you're starting from the bottom difficulty. As in, you're starting in League 4. You should look at this like ascension levels. You're not going all the way to 20 like in Slay the Spire, but you are. You only win the game when you win the league, right? But then that's only going to be a promotion, and then the next season is going to be in League 3. As I'm taping this, I've only played 6 seasons so far. And in my 6th season, I relegated from the 2nd best league in England. I will say this, the first season, you're learning the ropes, but you quickly figure out how to improve. I promoted in my 2nd season I promoted from the lowest league to the next lowest league, right? It's kind of easy to learn how the game functions, but I also feel like it's really hard to master. The way you improve your chances of winning a game is by getting special cards. You can get special cards from trainers, from players, and when you pick a spot, when you pick a game, you have to choose whether to go on the offensive, the defensive, or hold the line. This controls what cards come up during the game, because you draw cards for each situation that's gonna happen in the game. And everything is done by percentages. So when you shoot, you have a certain percentage because of how good the player with the ball is at that certain area of expertise and the defensive player that he's up against. And this is a really fun way to think about it, because of course there's a chance of things happening all the time. There's always a range of outcomes when it comes to this. The three types of cards that you can get are offensive, defensive, and possession. In between the games, you can combine cards to make new cards. So you craft your deck, but there's also standard cards. And then there's the special cards that the players and trainers give you. To get down to 90 minutes for a season, there are choices to make. And the choices to make is which games you want to simulate and which games you want to control. And in the mode where a season takes 90 minutes, you can control 1 in every 5 games. And that's kind of the frustrating part. So you can control 1/5 of games when you play on standard mode, where each season takes 90 minutes. Before each game, you get shown how likely it is that you will win the game, draw the game, or lose the game. And this is where you sometimes it feels like you're getting a tough deal. Because you might have a 60% chance of winning the game, but you end up losing it. And that doesn't feel good. However, you can play the game in another mode where you can control each game of the season, but of course the seasons are gonna take that much longer. I've left it on standard mode because I like the swiftness of it, and it's good to know how percentages work. Like, if there is a 1% chance that you will lose a game, 1 in 100 times you will lose the game. That's how percentage should work. So you shouldn't be that frustrated by losing in a spot where you're heavily favored, but it does happen. And you need to just, accept that it can happen. It also happens in Football Manager as well, for each of you that have actually played a football management sim before. Finally, would I recommend this game? Yes. Who would I recommend it to? Simple. Someone who has a nostalgia for old times, like the 80s and 90s. Someone who loves football, and preferably football management sims, and someone who likes deck building games. This is gonna be maybe a 1% of gamers worldwide. This is probably where they will be kind of mad at this review. I'm not sure this Venn diagram of people is big enough to sustain a successful game. I love niches. I've played a lot of niche games, but this might be a bit too niche, because I don't feel like the gamers who like Football Manager are the same that like deck building games like Slay the Spire, Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, and so forth. So if you fit this Venn diagram, you're gonna have a great time. A lot of others might not. And I'm sorry to say that into a microphone. If you are this 1% of people, you will enjoy this. I will just say it that way. You will enjoy this. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want to see next time that I upload a video, hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next time.